What's up, every pony? I'm back once again with the aid of my dear friend Brelia to bring you the final chapter of this story at last. On the whole, it's been a fun ride, and I hope everyone likes this one as much as the previous four. So let's just get started, knock this thing out, and I'll say the rest of what I need to say before I close, like always. So let's go. Chapter 5. Concerns, Pasts, and Terrible Puns. Vinyl sighed as she embraced the feeling of Octavia nuzzling up to her on the couch. Octavia grinned, new sensations of bliss washing over her normally fretful mind. It was nice to have another pony there, to hold and be held by. It had a magical power of allowing the pair to feel like they were alone in the world, isolated from any pony else. It's so liberating, Octavia thought, to not have to care about others' opinions. I don't need to impress any pony anymore. From now on, I will do things for myself, not for the director or my bandmates or mother and father. Octavia's smile washed away. Mother and father. Now sadness began to creep into Octavia's mind, knowing of her parents' undoubted disapproval of her relationship. Mother will be so disappointed. And father will... Oh, Celestia. Vinyl looked down at the mare in her hooves and saw tears had begun to well up in her eyes. Vinyl's smile changed to a look of concern.
Octavia? Octavia, are you alright?
Octavia sniffed. No, Vinyl. I am not all right. Do you remember what I told you about my parents? Vinyl nodded, her concern growing.
You said they don't like homosexual ponies. Or filly foolers.
Octavia shook her head. No, Vinyl, they don't just dislike them. They utterly loathe them. They find them to be the bane of Equestria. That they're just... Octavia's tears began to stream down her cheeks. Just disgusting. They'll think I'm disgusting. They'll think we're disgusting. Octavia now sobbed openly, tears streaming down her face as Vinyl began to run a hoof through Octavia's mane. Octavia took this as an opportunity to bury her muzzle into Vinyl's shoulder, sobbing against her neck. Vinyl continued to run a hoof through Octavia's mane as her tears started to overflow, occasionally accompanied by muffled gibberish, and then more cries. After a few minutes, Octavia's cries had stopped, and Vinyl remained still while the last trickles of tears came from the mare she embraced. Now only sniffles escaped while Octavia began to calm herself. She wiggled out of Vinyl's embrace, wiping her eyes and straightening her bow tie in an attempt to fix her unkempt appearance. Vinyl levitated a nearby box of tissues to Octavia and allowed her to grab one and blow her nose. After a moment of silence, Octavia spoke up. Vinyl, I apologize for my behavior. It was quite foolish of me. She spoke calmly while wiping her eyes with a tissue. I know you say I should disregard the opinions of those who disregard mine, but these are my parents. I can't imagine life without them. They've always loved me so much. Vinyl nodded.
Then they will still love you.
Octavia shook her head. No, Vinyl, don't you see? I am what they despise. They could never love a filly fooler like me. I won't be anything to them anymore. Vinyl grabbed hold of Octavia's shoulders, forcing her to look her in the eye.
Do they love you? Truly love you?
They do now.
Listen to me, Octavia. They still will. If they hate filly foolers more than they love you, then they don't love you. They only love a fake, make-believe version of you, not the real you. If they love the real Octavia, then they will continue to.
And what if they don't, Vinyl?
Then they were never worth caring about to begin with.
Octavia was becoming angered again. How can you say that, Vinyl? They are my parents. How would you react if one day you found out your parents just didn't love you anymore?
They never did to begin with.
Vinyl stated with a hollow chuckle. What?
I said they never did to begin with. My parents always hated me. They made that clear every day. Everything I did disgusted them, and they made sure to tell me so. According to them, I was the bane of their existence from that day, and they weren't about to let me forget it.
Octavia's anger melted into pity.
Vinyl, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize...
Don't be sorry. I left as soon as I could and never looked back. I'm a stronger mare for it, and I do just fine on my own.
Did they ever hurt you, Vinyl?
Ha!
Vinyl gave a fake laugh.
Yeah, you could say that.
Using her magic, Vinyl levitated her mane from the right side of her head to the left, exposing numerous scars from beatings to the back of her head.
My dad, I called him asshole, and he called me little bitch. Don't you just love pet names? Anyway, asshole used to always hit me in the back of the head, claiming it was supposed to knock some sense into that retarded brain of yours. And he would put my mane over it, telling me that if I ever showed any pony, he'd kill me.
Octavia brought a hoof over her mouth to cover her gasp before speaking.
Vinyl, that's awful. I can't even imagine.
Good. 'Cause trust me, you don't want to.
Octavia nodded solemnly.
How old were you when you left?
About 14. I don't really have any way of knowing.
You don't know how old you are?
Octavia asked.
Nope. I was born in Stalingrad, and when we moved to Equestria, my birth certificate was never brought along. My parents didn't tell me when my birthday was. They said it was for spoiled little shits. So, I didn't have one. To this day, I can only estimate how old I am.
That's terrible. How did you leave?
Octavia's face was one of pure shock. She had never considered herself to be an overly sheltered mare, but this was unspeakable.
It wasn't that hard. One night, they were both drunk and passed out, so I just left the apartment, sold what little I had to buy a train ticket, and rode as far as away it would take me. That's how I ended up here, in Canterlot. I got off the train and enrolled in the first high school I found. I lived in the school for a while. Then, I moved in with a good friend of mine's, and his parents. I still live with them now.
You two must be very close.
Yeah, we are. He's like a brother to me. He saved my flank in a lot of rough patches. He actually got me that job at Philly Fuller's. Looks like I have another reason to thank him.
Vinyl smiled as she brought Octavia close to her, placing a kiss upon her lips. And another. Octavia sighed. The feeling of Vinyl's warm muzzle pressed up against hers was so comforting, so loving. Easy to get lost in the euphoria of her lips. Vinyl opened her mouth slightly, allowing her tongue to gently glide over Octavia's lips. Octavia's mouth opened in return, allowing Vinyl's tongue to slowly explore inside her mouth. A soft moan escaped Octavia's lips, the pure bliss of these new sensations washing over her. Vinyl pressed her mouth deeper against Octavia's as their tongues began an intricate dance, gently swirling in passionate harmony. Octavia finally broke the kiss, gasping for air, her hoof over her heart and panting through words.
My, that was certainly something else. Whew. How are you? Not out of breath.
Vinyl chuckled.
Because I have a nose?
A deep blush washed over Octavia.
Right. Breathing through the nose. I can do that.
Vinyl grinned, slowly placing her purple sunglasses over her eyes.
I guess you could say I really took your breath away. Oh, yeah!
Octavia face-huffed.
Of all the mares in Equestria, I fall for you.
Well, that's that. Hope everyone had fun with this one. Thanks to all who stuck around for the whole thing and left wonderful comments and subbed to me, etc. And of course, many, many thanks again to my dear, dear friend, the lovely Brelia1994, for her absolutely fantastic vinyl scratch voice. with luck, I'll be able to use her for that every time I do a vinyl story from here on out. So everyone, go sub to her as well, and give her readings a listen. As to my own, my next story, my next clop, I should say, is called Carmel's Entrapment, and I really look forward to entertaining you all with that one. Sadly, I'm not sure when that'll be. I'll likely be a bit too busy with other things soon. So sorry. But in any event, I thank you all again for tuning in. Have a great rest of the day, every pony. Bye for now.